What?
Got some breaking news that's hit since we've been going live. The first one is this.
UFC lifts ban on reporter Ariel Helwani. Huh.
The second one is a little less exciting.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Go back to that. It says reported that wrestler Brock Lesnar is in talks to return to UFC 200, preempting a UFC announcement. Officials issued a life ban against him. The organization reversed the decision Monday. That's kind of cool because that means that like public support made them lift that, but it also must mean that they worked out whatever the fuck it was. See, this is what they were saying, and this is what I'm hearing. Okay, let me just I haven't talked to Ariel, but let me just give you the UFC perspective. The UFC perspective was that there was a mole. They believe that someone was giving Ariel information, and that information he was using to scoop the UFC's official promotions. So the UFC, which is a private company, you know, they don't have to have, you don't have to let people in to your business, your private company, to come and report. And so they felt like he was somehow or another getting a hold of this inside information, releasing it, and making them look bad. Now, I get the UFC's perspective that they would want to know who the fuck is leaking this secret information, and that they don't want this guy taking that information and then putting it live. Now, from what I understand, the conversation with him was, don't do this, because if you do this, there's only a handful of people that know this information. So we're going to fire everybody, or we're going to fire a bunch of people, and you're going to ruin people's lives. This is what I was told was a conversation they had with him. After that conversation, he leaked the Brock Lesnar stuff. So that, I don't know if that's true. I would have to talk to Ariel. You'd have to get his opinion. You'd have to get the UFC's opinion. You'd have to get the two of them together to debate whether or not which story was true. But this is the side that you're not hearing. So all you're hearing is the UFC banned him for life, and everybody was upset. So I like Ariel. I think Ariel's a very good reporter. I think he's a very bright guy. I'm good friends with his uncle, Gad Sad, who's
full disclosure,
awesome, just a brilliant professor in Montreal. I love that guy. So I like Ariel. And the whole thing was bumming me out. I was looking at my Twitter feed. I was like, fucking. But there's certain things like this, you got to kind of let the dust settle. So the dust settled. They lifted the ban. I'm very happy with that. But you got to be careful when it comes to... See, here's the thing about this leaking information. People say, he's just doing his job reporting. I get that. I understand that. But you have to realize this isn't like news that is not going to get out, that's going to affect people's health.
It's like we're trying to make an announcement in an hour.
Yeah, this is a private company that is spending millions of dollars to promote these events. So all you're doing is just like getting it on you. You're taking... Yeah, go ahead.
Where is it?
So it's right out that door and to the right-hand side. All you're doing, if you're scooping it, is you're shining the attention on yourself. What I like Ariel for is not him shining the attention on himself. What I like Ariel for is I think he's a very bright guy, and I think he's very insightful when it comes to fights and strategies and things along those lines. So I don't think it's important that he break the news before the UFC does. And I think if the UFC doesn't want him to do that because this is private information in a private company and they're trying to control the press release, I don't buy that that's necessarily like under the guise of journalism. I think it's like there's some fuckery with that, because we're not talking about like, oh, he found out about some horrible thing that happened that someone's covering up, or he found out about corruption in government, or he found out about a person got shot by the police. This is not like that kind of news. They're gonna release it. You're just trying to do it before they do it. And you're finding it, if it's true that there's a mole, you're finding it out through some sort of a sneaky method that these people all sign non-disclosure agreements, and they're all not supposed to release that information because the UFC wanted to make that big, cool announcement. Now, when that big, cool announcement happened at UFC 199, I was working all day. I was doing commentary all day, so I didn't go online, and I wasn't reading any of the MMA sites, so I didn't know that Ariel had already scooped it. So when I saw that promo and I saw Brock Lesnar, "Can you see me now?" I was like, what does that mean? Was this real? Like what? Like that was a real reaction by me. I had no fucking idea whatsoever that Brock Lesnar was going to be at UFC 200.
Yeah, I didn't either. No one around me knew what was happening. We didn't see the promo.
Right.
We couldn't hear it.
That's what the UFC wanted. They wanted that. And they felt like him releasing that early ruined that for the people that read his article. And I see their point of view. I see their perspective, and I also see their perspective as a private company. Now, people are saying that he's just doing his job and it's just journalism. Folks, this is not hidden information. This is not stuff that wasn't going to come out for sure in a couple hours. He knew it was. Everybody knew it was. So this is a very tricky thing. And it's also, he had apparently scooped Nate Diaz versus Conor McGregor. He had done that, and that was when, this is again what I'm hearing, when they had a talk with him. They're like, look, if you fucking do this, you're going to ruin people's lives because you're going to get people fired. Because we're going to find out who the fuck did this. There's only a small handful of people. It's not coming from Brock's side. It's coming somehow or another from inside the organization. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I got no problem with the UFC doing it because I mean, if everything we're saying, you know, because obviously I don't know all the information, but look, it's your company, it's your information.
Yes,
you have a right to tell your employees don't give this out, and if there's evidence that one of them is, be like, I'm going to fire that guy.
Yeah, and this is the most important part of it, folks. This is not a free speech thing. It's not a freedom of the press thing because we're not saying that he somehow or another scooped some inside information that we'd have never gotten out. This is not some secret stuff.
Well, also he has the right to say it. Yes. No, he shouldn't be thrown in jail. No one's, you know,
exactly.
I don't advocate for anyone being thrown in jail.
What I'm saying, though, what I'm saying is, it's not like he uncovered some inside shit like Watergate. This is something that they were gonna release. They had a plan, and he got word of that and jumped the gun and put it out there. And he said he had multiple sources and all this different jazz. But look, it doesn't help anybody to release it early except Ariel.
So you're saying it's not like he found out about some scandal going on that he was showing to the public. It's literally like, we want to drop this in an hour. And by the way, I didn't read his thing, and I loved finding that news out live at the event. It was amazing.
Well, and I don't give a fuck, okay? I think it's kind of cool that they had that, but it doesn't bother me at all that the information got out a few hours earlier. Would I have had the same reaction? No. But if I saw it in written word, I would still had a very similar reaction. Like, what the fuck? I wouldn't have had the same reaction when I saw the promo, but come on, man. I'm not into cheesy promos anyway. I don't give a fuck. I want to see matchups. I don't give a shit. Give everybody the information the moment it happens. I don't give a fuck. I don't like announcements. All of that, I don't. But that said, I completely understand the UFC's opinion, or the UFC's position, where they have this company, and you know, people go, "Oh, you're a company man. You're fucking sticking up for the company." No, just think of this for a second. You have a promotional campaign that you've created. You've spent more than $1 million promoting this UFC 200 commercial. They have this whole thing, and then they tag Brock Lesnar in the end, and they think, "Oh my God, this is the fucking cherry on top of the sundae. This is going to be it." And then someone jumps the gun, and you find out that it's someone inside your company, allegedly, that's leaking information to this reporter, and he's getting this information out, and all he's doing is essentially scooping it and putting the putting the light on himself.
No, I think you have every right to want to fire that person. Yeah. And also every right to ban Ariel. And I love Ariel. I think he's a great reporter. I like, like watching his stuff. I like the MMA Hour a lot.
Well, again, maybe that information that I got from the UFC is also incorrect, and maybe that's why his ban has been lifted. But look, no one wants a guy like Ariel Helwani to not have a gig, and I think him getting banned, honestly, if you're an Ariel Helwani fan, you should be jumping up and down for two reasons. One, you should be happy that he got banned, because then it makes him like a martyr, and then happy that he got reinstated, because now he's a hero.
Yeah.
So I'm an Ariel Helwani fan, so I'm happy. I'm obviously a UFC fan, so I'm happy. I'm glad they worked it out and everybody talked.
We get to watch. We get to watch Brock Lesnar fight.
Exactly, but it's everybody that's freaking out that he's only doing his job. That's not necessarily true, folks. It's a little bit more complicated than that, because it's not like that information wasn't already coming out. And if you have information that you know is going to come out, write a fucking story about what that information means. Because that's what I want out of Ariel Helwani. I think Ariel Helwani is a really smart guy, and he's really insightful, and he's a true MMA fan. And he's a guy that is going to give you some really good insight and some very, very well-articulated thoughts that I enjoy. So I'm happy. I'm happy he's back. I'm happy. But that is the perspective that when I found out about it, I had to ask. I called, and I had this conversation with people that I deeply trust, and this was the version that I was handed. So now everybody knows, and it's all groovy.